Hi everyone, I'm Steve Gaither and thanks for listening. Why do we prefer ignorance over expertise? I'm glad you asked. It's actually a human phenomenon that I think most all of us do pretty often. So let's jump right in. Knowledge may be power, but when we don't have knowledge, what do we have? We have ignorance. And you know what comes with ignorance? Confidence. This is a graph of the Dunning-Kruger effect. The vertical axis shows our level of confidence, while the horizontal axis shows our level of knowledge and experience. As you can see, when we have very little knowledge, we have great confidence. And then suddenly we learn a little more and we fall off of this peak of Mount Stupid and wind up in the valley of despair. Now right here we discover, gee, I probably sounded like an idiot because I thought I knew all there was to know, and in reality, I just had a little bit of knowledge and it gave me great confidence. And it made me look rather stupid. Remember what Dietrich Bonhoeffer said about stupidity. He said it's a lot worse than evil because there's so much more of it around. As we gain more education and add more information to our knowledge database, we are climbing the slope of enlightenment toward the plateau of sustainability. We don't ever get to the point where we know it all, and we never have the kind of confidence that we had when we were stupid, but we have more confidence than we did in the valley of despair. Let me tell you my story. My wife and I spent several months researching the carnivore diet. We read books and articles written by doctors who researched and then followed the diet. Doctors like Shawn Baker or Paul Saladino, who wrote the Carnivore Code. We watched hours and hours of physician-led discussions on YouTube and other forums. We joined Facebook forums and read and watched hundreds of testimonials. But, most impressive of all was the 82-year-old Canadian cattle farmer named Maggie White. For the last 65 years, Maggie had eaten nothing but meat, water, and salt. She still works 14-hour days, and she looks like she's in her 50s, honestly. She's written some books, and she's sharp as a tack, and she shows no signs of mental or physical decay. So my wife and I have been following this diet for the last 14 months with amazing results. So that's a bit of what I know about carnivore, and let me tell you what I've experienced. Here's my fat face in December of 2023 at 184 pounds, and I went from that to 165 pounds. I had some constant muscle pain from inflammation. Disappeared. I thought it was part of this neurological disorder, and maybe it was, but it's gone. With the same amount of exercise, I'm now gaining muscle mass. I've never done that in the past. I've had the best energy levels I've ever had, improved mental clarity, better sleep, dry, flaky scalp I had since age 16's gone. Even a receding gum line is reversing. So my experience with carnivore was all good, but wow, when I began to talk to people, I noticed this strange phenomenon. The people who knew the least about it spoke the most confidently about what I should do. They didn't really realize it, but it felt like they were trying to educate me, which would really be uneducating, somehow remove my knowledge and just kind of suck me back to where they were, to the little dot there on the far left, which is little to no knowledge. So my knowledge of carnivore could be described as the dot in the middle here. I wouldn't say that I was an expert, and I certainly didn't have all the knowledge, but I had a whole lot more, and I had good results, good experience, good knowledge. This inclination to trust our small or non-existent database of information comes from several psychological factors: grandiosity, denial, confirmation bias, and belief perseverance. Google that one. It's it's interesting. We, as humans, tend to believe the first thing we were told, even when later presented with evidence that it is not true. Well, anyway, these factors lead people to mistakenly assume that they have enough knowledge to draw conclusions, and at the same time they're disregarding or undervaluing the experience and expertise of others. To grow, we really need to practice humility, respecting both our own limits and the expertise of others. When we encounter ideas that challenge our beliefs, rather than immediately dismissing them, we might consider listening. Just kick your brain out of gear. Stop forming thoughts and put your mind in the learning mode. Ask questions and reserve judgment until you've gained all the new information available. Be painfully introspective. How much do I really know about this issue? Am I taking a plunge into the river of denial just to avoid admitting that I could be wrong? If each of us made an effort to check our biases and acknowledge the gaps in our understanding, we could bridge the confidence gap that often leads to overvalue our own ignorance. In doing so, we create an environment where everyone's knowledge and experience can contribute to a deeper and more respectful conversation, as well as personal growth. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you've learned a little bit about how easy it is to prefer ignorance over expertise.